Water scientist Anthony Turton says the syndicates targeting the sector are highly organised and use intelligence to target infrastructure.
Yeah, Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Sanitation has also revealed that the so-called water tanker mafias are sabotaging already struggling infrastructure to cash in on the crisis. Similar syndicates already operate in the electricity as well as the construction industries.
On the one hand, political activism that is linked to the damaging and destruction of parts of the water infrastructure. And we saw this happening as a prelude to the 2021 Looters' War, where there were very specific elements of the infrastructure that were targeted. And that suggested to me that there was a very intelligent decision-making process behind the scenes. And then we also saw it recently, a few months ago, in the political unrest and sort of blockade of Durban, eThekwini, where there were water meters that were actually sabotaged. So we've also seen it in other parts of the country where it's got a different manifestation. For example, we've seen it up in the Gauteng area, in the Pretoria area, around the wastewater works in Pretoria, where we had that cholera outbreak a while ago. You had a very, very big tanker mafia operating.
Now, to help us understand this, I'm now joined via video link by Robert Mashego, who is Parliament's Water and Sanitation Portfolio Committee chairperson. Chair, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. Let's start off here. What exactly do you understand from your preliminary investigations, what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal, as we just heard there from Professor Turton, that this is not only in KwaZulu-Natal, but it is a national issue? Ntate Mashego, can you hear me? Ntate Mashego, can you hear me? Good morning. Okay, let's quickly see if we can re-establish that line there to Robert Mashego, who is Parliament's Water and Sanitation Portfolio Committee chairperson. And this is in relation to the so-called water tanker mafias. Some of the accusations is also that they are deliberately damaging the infrastructure to cash in on the emergency tenders that would be issued by various municipalities. Let's try that line again. Ntate Mashego, good morning. Can you hear me now?
I do hear you, Aldrin. Good morning to your listeners and good morning to your viewers.
Thank you so much for making time for us. Explain to us from your preliminary investigation what is happening in KwaZulu-Natal, but also Professor Turton that we just heard from now saying that it's not only limited to KwaZulu-Natal, but we're seeing this in other areas in the country as well.
Yes, good morning. As I said, look, I agree with Professor Turton that it is not KZN, it is all over the country in South Africa at large, that indeed this water tanker system has become big business. In actual fact, municipalities that are trying to repair damages that are there in the water systems are being prevented or intimidated even to repair those that have been damaged. For purposes of the flourishness of these businesses of water tankers. So Professor Turton is very correct that it is well organized, all well orchestrated. It is now becoming too much a big business.
So how exactly does it work? What is the modus operandi? And also, does it include individuals within the municipalities as well?
It works in a sense that, remember, these things emanate from the time that we were in a consistent load shedding, where you will have got the water interruptions given the fact that there is no electricity. So people in the process went and engaged themselves into big depths of water tanker trucks. Now, in the midst of them unable to pay their installment for the cars, they are trying all means that there must always be flourishness of the business. One, in either, as I'm saying, refusing municipalities to work on the water systems, or they themselves damaging the pipelines in order for people not to have water.
Yeah, but
as to whether it affects municipal employees, I have not come across a proof to that point, but I can't write it out.
Yeah, But how would that individual trucker know that once I damage this infrastructure, my business would be the business that is going to get this emergency tender to provide water? How do they know that if municipal officials are also not involved in this?
Remember, I've just said that I can write it out, but it is simple because remember, they will have been engaged earlier to supply water, and most of the time, they even tap that water from the very same damaged pipes of the municipalities. These people are residents of municipalities. They know all the corners of where the pipe is broken, whether you're going to repair where, for them to be ready for you when you come to repair, intimidate you not to repair because they want their business to flourish.
Yeah.
So the point as to whether municipal employees are involved or not, I don't have proof of that, but I can write it out.
Okay. What proof then do you have that some of these water tankers that after purchasing these trucks can no longer fulfill their installments, and that's the reason why they are going about trying to get money out of municipalities through damaging our infrastructure?
Look, if you go about looking at those trucks, you will see all of them are brand new. They are very new. They have just been processed. But as I'm saying, as a chairperson of Water and Sanitation, I go around where there are water problems sometimes. And even myself sometimes get told not to come anymore, to come and just oversee what is happening in the process. So the process of whether these water tankers are at a time or at a place where these incidents are happening is not a hearsay. Myself, I was involved in just going to look where they are. As I speak to you now, I can see water tankers. Here they are, just where I am. They are tapping water from the reservoir of the municipality, they themselves.
Yeah. Are you saying that you were threatened?
Yes, not once, not twice.
What did they say?
No, simple to tell you that, look, we have heard you saying something about us. Please don't come here again because this is where we are doing our business. Not in many times that they said it to me.
Yeah, and that is, of course, criminal as well. And you are going about your job, which includes oversight as well. What is government saying about this? What is the law enforcement saying about this? Do you know of anyone who has been arrested?
I do know that the Minister of Water and Sanitation did report the incidents of these water tankers to the Minister of Police. And the Minister of Police has committed that because it is now becoming a big issue, not only on water, but even on just infrastructure in general, that there is these mafias that are now operating in the space of our infrastructure. And the Minister of Police is dealing with that, with those particular issues.
And also we are dealing here with a basic commodity, a basic human right, and that is access to water. What steps now needs to be taken to ensure that we don't find a situation where municipalities are actually being defrauded, essentially, because the infrastructure is being damaged, and you can only imagine the amount of money that is required to restore that infrastructure? What should happen?
From our side as Department of Water and Sanitation, ours is having identified the problem. It's simply to report it to the Minister of Police, and for the Minister of Police to unleash our security at last department, for them to see to it that this process is being stopped, or rather that the police are arresting this particular criminal element. Yeah. It is the only thing we can do from the Department of Water and Sanitation, nothing more than that.
What about the SIU?
No, but SIU are becoming an after effect when there is already proof that there are things they investigate the authenticity. I think that the police are the first line of defense that you can go to. SIU can be called in, of course, when there is already proof that there is an element of corruption and so forth and so on. But whether there is criminal element or not, the police are the one to look at that particular problem.
Yeah, and the reason that I'm asking about the SIU, because they also had an investigation, for instance, in one of the municipalities in Mpumalanga, and the Mpumalanga department as well, the Department of Human Settlements, where there were tankers that were costing around 5 million rand each, and the SIU found that actually the prices were inflated, grossly so. So meaning that the SIU already has its tentacles in this water issue. So what else should be coming from the SIU in terms of their investigations?
You will realize that, as you're saying, the SIU is coming to investigate whether, having given the contract to these water tankers, are they operating legally on the contract that are given by the municipality? We are dealing at a time where those contract must no longer be given because there is water processes that is taking place. And when we stop these processes, therefore the SIU will have got nothing to investigate because there will be no water tanker system that is taking place. But at the time that you have given the contract to water tankers, the SIU, even the public protector, can investigate whether is the price given to you the correct price, whether the water is indeed clean enough to be consumed, and so forth and so on. So the guilty people there might be even the person who gave the contractor, whether is he not willy-nilly just paying more than what is supposed to be done and so forth. So the SIU will deal with that. We are dealing with a supply of water which is not supposed to be supplied by water tankers, but supplied by the municipalities or the water boards. But the water tankers are stalling people not from tapping from the water boards or the municipalities, but only from them. That's what we're investigating.
Thank you so much for your time. That is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation, Robert Mashego there. And just earlier, a couple of months ago, actually, the independent papers reported on the Ugu municipality that confirmed that they spend around 24 million rand on water tanker rentals. Water tanker rentals. So that means around 2 million rand every month just on the rentals. While still